Hey everybody, this is Grace. I'm on my way to get something to eat. It's 2:04 p.m. and I haven't eaten today. Anyway, I want to talk about this with emotional abuse of people who use emotional abuse to get their way. I need to go that way. Yeah. I recently saw this woman on a video. She was using emotional abuse, and overall, well, I'll skip this, but what she was doing was, she's one of those, how many of us have seen this? I have seen this over years of people who they do, what is it called? They're supposedly trying to diet and lose weight. Is their diet journey? What do they call it? Yeah, there's a name for it. A lot of them do. Okay, it's their weight loss journey. And I have seen and heard these. I never was one to watch them. I don't think anybody should. Personally, some of them, I remember seeing one years ago, and she was telling everybody that was would watch. She was saying that everybody should do this, and she was not anybody's dietitian. She was not a dietitian. She was not a nutritionist, and she was saying that everybody should follow this diet and stuff like that. And I definitely do not believe in that. And she was definitely, what I like, the old-fashioned term for it is charlatan. or quack or whatever. I like the word charlatan. I put quite a bit underneath it. But anyway, but this woman, she was, to get to this, in a twisted way. I've watched her off and on for, I don't know how long, but off and on. And she does things. She is the master manipulator. She gets people to send her money, and in various ways, and she brags about how much money she makes. All the while, she'll turn around and say she doesn't have money for groceries. She doesn't have money to pay this and to pay that, and then she gets people to pay for her. Well, her recent thing is, in my view, and I'm a social and behavioral scientist. In my view, it's not a diagnosing anything. It's just in my view, which could be wrong, that she is trying really hard to get her audience to pay her to live. Okay, so she does not have to work. And she has gone as far as to say that God has been giving her signs, so that to tell her that she should not be working, and that she has, over time now, she spreads these out. She has said that she's minding God, what God says, and not anybody else, but what God says, what God tells her to do. Like I said, it's not like just all of a sudden one video. No, she spread it out, and in every video she's, she knows her audience. There are a lot of the audience is they're Christians. I don't know anything about any other religion but Christianity. So if I ever say anything about that, it's just I don't know the other ones. But she has made it to where that her people, she calls them her people, okay, in a possessive way, and her children, okay, that's not okay. That's infantilization. And she says, she knows they're Christians, so she's been, the more that she would see that they would respond, she got to the point where she used to do things that were in a way that were total opposite. It's an old-fashioned term for it, but it was more like someone who, the old-fashioned term for it, I don't know if anybody uses it anymore, but devil worshiper, in a way. And I've seen more than one of those do that. More than one. Okay? More than one. They suddenly change because they see that they get more money off of people who are Christians that come up on their live streams, and then eventually just their videos, and they will praise them, and they will follow them as though that they are that the person making the video, as though they are some will actually say things like sent from God, and they'll do the whole thing. Speaking of which, there's a church right there, but they do this whole thing of being very dramatic. I've been on YouTube for 11 and a half years. I've seen plenty of these kind of different ones. They'll be very dramatic with talking about, it's about time the school let out, but very dramatic with their Bible, and it's the same kind of thing. Two of these were doing the same thing back to back. I mean, as if they were in a competition with one another. Okay, they take their Bible, put it in their left hand, open it up, and then they lovingly, they're not saying anything during this, they're lovingly caressing their Bible, the pages as they turn them. It's very, very dramatic. If you read your Bible, that's not right. You don't put on a show about your religiosity. You just don't do it. And they put on a show, and they lovingly caress it, and then after they do that for a while, they're not saying a word. After a while, what they do is they put the Bible down in front of them, open up, and bow their head over their hands. They put their hands in prayer and bow their head and act like they're praying. Very dramatic. Like I said, check out the Christian Bible. Okay, that is not what Christians do. Period. They do not make a show of their Christianity. They just do not. Okay, this is something private for them, not something to display and to use to get money off of people. They're swindlers. The Bible is very against swindlers. Very against swindlers. The cashier, she couldn't seem to get this order right. I hope it's not some so messed up. I don't know whether she just couldn't hear me or what it was, but oh my. Godly. Anyway, I got everything down on it to where it's not that much sodium, and this is a good segue. I was thinking that when I was ordering it, it's a good segue into the rest of this about this woman. One of these, like I said, two of them are doing about the same thing. I don't know, there could be more. Because I have said for years now, 11 and a half years, I have been on YouTube making videos on my original channel. And I've said this for most of these years, that it's as though they're scripted. They're just reading a script on how to do this, that, and the other. Okay, let me go skip to, oh man, yeah, to this. Still eating over here, like I was saying. I take basically everything off, except for the patty and the little lettuce, it's a little onion. And didn't they used to put tomatoes on burgers? Wonder what happened to that. But yeah. Anyway, half of the bun, the top bun. So I don't have too much. But that is a good segue into. Now I did have heart failure twice last year. The second time I had to go to the hospital. And the second time, the woman that did my breathing treatments, I believe it was her that said, well, it must have been her. She's a professional. She said that it could have been just that. Because I went for a nosebleed. And then I started having some shortness of breath when when I walked in and stuff like that, and then started having it. And she said that it could have just been that, and not because I wasn't swollen. I didn't have the usual signs, and whatever the tests they ran, you know, that could have just been that I needed a breathing treatment for like, I used to have pneumonia when I was young. She didn't say pneumonia, but could have been. Anyway, all these doctors and, you know, nurses and stuff like that, they all would say, the ones there too, a really nice nurse was there. She stayed with me the whole time I was there. And that I've never seen before. And I've been to that hospital before. I've never seen it in any hospital. And she told me so much stuff. Man, she was so great about my health conditions, past, present. She was great. And she told me how much of a sodium account, you know, content that I should eat per day. And I don't think any of them ever told me that. They would just say, watch your sodium. This one, she narrowed it down. And she kept telling me, and when I was leaving, she goes, remember, watch that sodium count. And it has to be this amount. You know, I'm not saying because that's the doctor telling me, and that's not advice to anybody else. Not anybody else. I have a rare health condition, and that's what I needed with my health condition and all. So it's not advice, it's not in lieu of any of that for anybody, okay? I want to stress that. And nothing I ever say is any form of advice or any of that anyway. So, anyway. But the segue into this is that this woman, one of the women, that they seem to be in competition. I will not be surprised at all if the other one starts doing the same thing, and that is to get the audience. Basically what she's doing is she was saying that it's the audience's fault. She wasn't using these exact words, and we all know how that they master manipulate. They twist the words. We don't all know this. Okay, sorry about that. Not everybody does. Don't feel bad if you don't. Okay, but maybe now you do. Maybe you'll listen and think, oh, I do. I understand now. But they'll twist the words, and without saying it directly, because they know better than to be very direct. It's very indirect. But she's saying that her audience is the fault of her poor diet. Okay, I'm not going to say anything about weight. I am one of those people who totally believes that even the term some use is shaming people. Okay, the term some use is incorrect. So there's none of that shaming. But she lets them know that what she eats, you know, the actual, what she's eating, the food, in her twisted way of saying it, is that her audience is at fault. Okay, she's already tried to tell her audience that God is telling her not to work. Well, she has no other person who's helping to support her. She doesn't have a spouse or anybody at home who's going to support her. The people who have been doing it have been her audience, who are Christians, mainly Christians. And she actually switched it to where she went from basically, I was saying that, like kind of like a devil worshiper, to where she is pushing and pushing and pushing, saying that she's this great Christian and that God is telling her not to work, but instead to be more, you know, to go to more church functions kind of thing, functions and church, I don't know what you call them, because mine is, I can't go to any church because of my allergies. A lot of people like to wear perfumes and what they clean the floor with and you know, clean the place with will set me off like you wouldn't believe. I've tried it. Okay, I've tried it. I'm having problems with allergies right now. Speaking of which, I had to turn off for a minute. I have it year-round. I live in Texas, in a suburb, north, big city suburb of Dallas. Yeah. It's a big city to itself. It's number 9 largest city in Texas. So Texas is huge, you know, lots of towns and cities. Anyway, this woman, she has, where was it? Where did I leave off? She basically has manipulated her audience slowly over time, over videos, several, I don't know how many weeks, months, I don't know. But she has made it to where they are going to feel, they're going to feel shame. They're going to feel responsible. They're going to feel like they owe her, you see? Like it's their fault. These are Christians. That it's their fault. And they praise her. Oh, do they ever? They say she's sent from God, and God is telling her all this. They are believing that God is, because she said, God's sending me signs. And she just keeps going on and on about how God is doing all this. And God is telling her all this. And then she blames her audience for what she's eating, which is bad stuff. And like I said, I have to watch my sodium. She actually mentions that too. I have a rare health condition. There was one time she was trying to say that she had a rare health condition. I stopped saying what my rare health condition is because a guy before that, he tried to use that. He was, Adam actually told me that this guy was copycatting my videos, and the guy had been doing it, all together from before then and after then. The guy did it for 2 years. He's got a, last I saw was a popular, he went from hardly, I think maybe 1,000 subscribers to where his is very popular. And that was back years ago, 2018 to 2020, somewhere around there. Yeah. Try to use my health condition for himself. And then this woman, she's trying it too. I don't know how many probably have tried it. That's nothing unusual I've seen. I'm not that popular, and that's fine by me. I don't have any needs for anything, Mine is vent videos. Quite often I use it to vent stuff like this, or just to talk about stuff like this, to basically say, hey, I don't give anybody advice. I try not to make people, think. If they want to think, that's what they can do. That's their thing. Okay, but I sort through stuff myself that I'm seeing like this with somebody. I feel so sorry for her audience, the ones that are really good people, and some of them seem like that they are elderly people that are on fixed incomes. I feel so sorry for them. I don't want to blame the victim and say they've been fooled, or in any way say it's their fault, because it's not. She's a master manipulator. She smirks. She big time smirks, especially sometimes it's at the beginning of her video, sometimes it's at the very end, sometimes it's both. Because the smirk on her face is that of she is like she knows she just fooled a lot of people. You see what I'm saying? It's like I said, I am a social and behavioral scientist. So I have a clue. Big clue. I don't diagnose. I'm just saying this is how I see it. Just my opinion. And opinions can be wrong. Even a social and behavioral scientist. What is that in front of me? Is what I'm trying to figure out. It looks like a cage or something. I can't see because there's a shadow on my windshield. But it looks like there's a cage sitting over there. Very odd. I'm not going to walk over there and look. Nope, not doing that. There used to be a police station right here, and it moved. But, so I would sit here. Anyway. Okay, I need to move out of here. I've been feeding the birds. I wish I had my feral bird seed with me. The last place I went and fed birds, I used all of it. It was in the little box I carry in my SUV. And so I was feeding the birds a little bit of the bun I had. So I don't eat the bottom bun. And then I had some French fries. So I gave them those. It's okay. I wanted to eat the French fries, but I noticed they had put sodium on it. I got the hiccups. Put salt on it. So, not my thing. Even though I did the whole thing of... what is the sodium count, and it wasn't that high, but then I realized it was the same with or without. Okay. Yeah, I don't know about that. I've had from a different place, it told me wrong for I don't know how long. It kept telling me that I was wrong. I mean, it kept telling me the wrong amount of sodium at a different restaurant, fast food. It was real low, and I kept saying, wow, this is nice, and it shouldn't be that high, because of what it is. And I won't say which place, but then all of a sudden it stopped saying that. It doubled it. Then it made it even more. Okay, what are you doing? Seriously? But this road is faster than I'm going. Anyway, but yes, like I said, segue. Now, a lot of the Christians that watch this woman that leave comment are nurses. Okay, nurses. Now, if somebody's talking about their diet and they show what they buy in the grocery store, and they show what they eat, and they show what they cook, they show everything. There's a lot of people who do this. I have seen for going way back to 2014, was it something like that? 2015, 2014. And they do that, and they show their, that's how I got on YouTube in the first place, was that kind of thing. And I thought it was all music and how-tos. But before that, I was on it, but I didn't start making videos until when I saw even more. So anyway, so she's another, they're both this kind of person too. They both kind of follow the same kind of thing. And then there's more of them too. So, and it's not just those two that show this and that and the other. And here it is, the Christians, they're a lot of them are nurses. And of course the nurse is going to say what? When they see the person putting a lot of sodium, a lot of salt on their food, on or in, or the kind of food it is, and they say things about sodium. And I'm very, I'm watching my own because of what I've been told. So when I see somebody say that, I was never one to read other people's comments in the past. But lately, yes. But seeing this kind of thing, and somebody telling this woman, or telling these women, telling other women, other people, don't eat so much sodium, so much salt in your food. So, okay, I don't know if that turned off or not, but anyway, I didn't know if that was kids or what. I don't put other people's kids in my videos. But anyway, so people going to say that, people who are Christians and who are nurses, even though nurses shouldn't do that, they should know that they shouldn't do that. Whether they were or are, because you just don't. It's kind of like, as far as I know, I could be wrong on this too, but you don't give people advice, okay? Or maybe they're just feeling it so strong, that this. Okay, now this is a woman. Sorry, I had to stop there. But this is a woman who has told her audience more than once that if her audience dares to tell her anything, what's going on here? Dares to tell her anything, like what she should and shouldn't do, that should or should not do. If they dare to give her any form of advice, this goes back a few years, and that she will continue to do it, and she will do it even more, to let them know that they do not tell her what to do. She has said that. Okay, so here it is, all these really good, decent people. Boy, this wind is something else. And I am in an SUV. But I think I'm gonna go down the other road instead of this one right here. But because the other road is, I can go slower. Yeah, it's in the neighborhood. But this road, whoop. But anyway, she'll make a screeching sound, and people must have told, she actually put some up, what people told her, and she showed the comment that they told her not to do this, and told her not to, make some noise, from her throat, real irritating noise, something like this, or sing in a certain way, speak in a certain way, because she does it, and they're irritating, and so she continues to do them, and she does them even more. Okay, she does them, she just continues it. Like if somebody says, don't make that screeching noise, it's very annoying when you screech like that. She gets real high with it, and this is a grown woman, middle-aged woman, and she gets real high with it. Anyway, she would say, I'm going to do it anyway. Just because they told me that, I'm going to do it even more. And she did. Okay, and she would. And every once in a while, she'll do it again. Whoa. Immaturity. I mean, there's much more social and behavioral scientists here could say to that. And I do, in my mind, say to that. Oh, whoa. Okay, as I was saying, the school let out, so I came home, and to wrap this up, there's something in that tree, I guess. Oh, there's a squirrel. There's the two squirrels. Do you see them? I cannot see see if you see them. Do you see them? Can you see them? The two squirrels? Well, one of them's gone. Where is it? Oh, the squirrelies. What are y'all doing way up there? Are y'all crazy? It's windy. That is something else. I thought it was a bag. Like one of those plastic bags blew up, two of them. But I haven't seen squirrely in a week or so. I call them, I always thought it was one, but it's actually two, and I named the one, I thought it was one, Squirrely, so both of them, their names are Squirrely. But anyway, it has actually done things like brought pecans, and I think they were all pecans, and left them twice for me. It's such a sweet, they're so sweet. Anyway, to kind of wrap this up, yeah, this woman is being emotionally abusive to her audience, and like I said, I was talking about some of them being nurses, and they say this, and she has informed them that because they told her not to eat much sodium, she's going to eat a lot more. She said it in her own little way, and she's going to continue to eat a lot more. So she's really, this is my view, trying hard to make them feel ashamed, guilty, responsible. So when she comes back with whatever her next plan is, and by the way, look up, okay, I know this is a word that a lot of people don't like, but I'll give it a short version, that is the one that is on extreme, is high, like high in the sky, like you see the squirrely up there, high, H-I-G-H, and the next word is mock, M-A-C-H, that's M-A-C-H, like a Mustang, vroom, vroom. Hi, Mach. But anyway, or Mach 1, or Mach whatever. I don't know, I'm not into cars. But I like Mustangs. Anyway, look it up. Just look it up. But she is going to have another plan, because I really think she is trying really, really hard to not have to work, to just sit at home, sit in, like, the way she sees she should be taken care of, because she's, in her mind, she is that special that people should be paying her way through life, that she's entitled to such. I really think she believes this. She is entitled, and she will use everything she can to her advantage. And this is just one of them. And she lies a lot. Is very deceptive, master manipulator, in my opinion. All right, enough for now.